Hey guys, how's it going? So I kind of wanted to do this one live, and hopefully my streaming will be all right. We have thunderstorms here right now, so I noticed that like my internet is just kind of really eh, really iffy today. But regardless of the quality, I'm still gonna punch through to kind of discuss Windows 8.1 on a Nokia Lumia 635. To kind of give you guys a little bit of my thoughts and just what I think about the device. So if you catch this and you join in, thanks for joining in. If not, you'll catch it on YouTube. So, anyways, I have the device in my hand right now, the Nokia Lumia 635. I really gotta say it's a really good phone, um, just for what it has, and basically, I'm not going to go into all the specs because you guys can find tons of review videos that just goes over every like detailed specification of the device. What I want to touch base with is just more of like an Android user kind of shifting over to Windows Phone 8.1 and just in general, just some of the things that I like and some of the things that I dislike about this phone and Windows 8.1 in general. So, first off, let's just go with the phone itself. The build quality is excellent. Okay, this is a budget device. It's not a flagship, so you're not going to get like the aluminum unibody and all that good stuff. But for it being a budget device, just what it's for, it really just feels awesome in the hand. It feels really good, for a 4.5-inch display phone, the size of the phone itself with the bezels and everything. It just really just feels comfortable in the hand. It just it doesn't feel like it's cheap or anything like that. It's nothing to that nature. As a matter of fact, after having it for a while and using it as a daily driver, it was just really came out just feeling like a very great phone. The downside to it, I got a bunch of questions from people, and they were like, it's always the same question, and that is that the iPhone 5C? And it's like, no, it's not. It clearly says, Nokia on the back of it. Um, just it's a very vague Nokia. Barely can see it, so it's not like I could be like, didn't you guys see the Nokia branding on the back? I mean, it's just so light. Uh, Color wise, I mean, I wish Boost Mobile offered more colors. I know T-Mobile has the white version has a white backing, and I know you can order different backings online, but I just really wish that from the jump, like you could have like a color option picked from the very get-go instead of having like to buy, um, like this color blue, and then me wanting something maybe of like yellow or purple or red or whatever, and then like having to buy backing to replace this blue one. I think it should have just came color options from the jump. So basically, when you buy the phone and you unbox it, you activate it, you pretty much have the color that you want to start out with. And if you want any secondary colors in the future, that's where you can go buy another backing. Another thing is that some people like got a little irritated with the power lock screen button being in the middle and the volume rockers being on top over here. I really didn't have much of an issue with that. Like I said, it was a learning curve from the very beginning. I had to remember that it was on the side, but then it worked out great. Every time I pulled the phone out of my pocket to unlock it, and I would hit that middle button, I knew I was unlocking the device, and then of course the longer button I knew was the volume rocker. So, but I knew I had already trained my thumb that if I wanted to adjust the volume, my thumb would have to go higher on the device itself versus being in the middle, more of a comfortable spot to unlock the device. So I mean, it's not too bad. It's just really based on preference and just like um, how picky you are as far as button placements and stuff like that. So the back cover casing just feels really cool. It's like it has like that cool gel feeling, yet it's sturdy. So that's a very good thing. And then on contrast with the bezels in the screen, it just makes it look just completely awesome. So most people should know by now, if you guys search up the specs, it only has 512 megabytes of RAM, and that is enough to run this device. I can't really speak for a lot of different Windows phones, because of what extra features they may have. But, just for this, having Windows Phone 8.1 and, having Cortana and beta and only having 512 megabytes of RAM, it pretty much does what it needs to do. I haven't had any lag whatsoever. What most people experience with lag, I haven't had. So um, I don't know. I don't know where. Like maybe I'm just lucky. I'm not sure about that. So, anyways, yeah, couple things that is like a hit and miss for me that I really wonder what they were thinking when they wanted to build this device and they wanted to put it out there on the market for people to have. But um, because I really can't say like they never factored in people taking selfie pictures, because there is a selfie mode on here, which I find strange, but I mean it does work well. But I find it to be strange. Basically, you activate selfie mode, and then what you do is you turn the phone around and you line the camera lens with your head, and you adjust the back and forward, and there's this beeping sound, and when it beeps really fast, it lets you know that basically your face is centered on the screen, and then you just blindly hit the camera shutter button, and it snaps a selfie of you, basically using the 5 megapixel camera on the back, which I don't think anyone would have mind paying an extra $20 for the device if they included just a simple VGA front-facing camera, maybe a 1 megapixel front-facing camera. I mean, one of the things that Nokia is very known for is its camera quality, and that's one thing that I like about this device is that the 5 megapixel camera on the back takes really good pictures, outside in outside lighting, but also in indoor lighting, which it boggled me when some people said that the camera quality was pretty bad. I mean, if you're comparing budget devices to flagships as far as camera quality, then that's where the comparison needs to stop, because no budget device should be compared to a flagship device, because flagship devices, the whole stops is pulled out for them. I mean, they go for broke. They go for the best experience that the device can handle, or the best camera that the device can handle. And so that's not the case with budget devices. What they do is they pick the best camera that's at a budget price to keep the price of the device low. So rather than slapping a 5 megapixel front-facing camera and a 20 megapixel rear-facing camera, they opt to go with the normal 8 megapixels and like 1.2 to 1.6 front-facing, or mostly VGA, if they really want to go that low. So as far as it having no front-facing camera is a real big issue with me, because I still want to have to turn around and line my face up with like this and wait for it to beep and then blindly hit the camera shutter button. I want to be able to just look and have a preview on the screen just like any other smartphone nowadays has. So I think with a front-facing camera, this device really, for what it's trying to do, basically get some avid users away from iOS and Android and becoming firm users of Windows Mobile or Windows Phone. With a front-facing camera, that would have definitely helped. It would have definitely helped the situation. Besides, missing the front-facing camera, really boils down to apps. Applications is very few in the ecosystem with Windows 8.1. And I know a lot of people sit there and say, well, you can have an app store that has millions where only maybe 30% of the applications are downloaded and used. And that's true, but with with Windows ecosystem of applications, it's not something that can help it. They're missing quintessential applications that most people use that's not relatively tied to Google. So the fact is, like, Snapchat not being available, and a couple of other applications is just really sad. And even then, some Google services is needed. It really is. I mean, and we can't sit there and say, oh well, they don't have Google applications. So if you want Google, move to Android or whatever. I mean, that's not the case with iOS. Like iOS has Google Plus, it has Hangouts, it has mostly of all Google service applications in their ecosystem. And of course, they are rival to Android, which is Google's mobile OS system. So I really don't understand exactly the dynamics between Google and Microsoft as far as processing, applications, because I really can't say like Microsoft, is like, oh, we don't want to give up our services to them, because on my LG Vault, I do have Microsoft's OneDrive installed, which means that I'm able to access things that I've put on my laptop, which I'm streaming from, and the Nokia Lumia. When I use it as a daily driver, if I take pictures, videos, and things like that, and then I auto sync it to OneDrive, it's already shared to my laptop. If I switch from my Nokia to my LG Vault, it's already on my LG Vault. I can access those videos and etc. So I really can't say that Microsoft's not sharing anything. I wonder why my voice is so scratchy. So anyways, there we go, drinking water. But yeah, you really can't say that Microsoft's not willing to share. So I wonder what it is. Like, there's so many third-party applications that try to tie you in to give you a Google experience per se, but they're really not. The Google Plus applications that are on Windows application store. And when you download them, all they are really is just shortcuts that auto launches Internet Explorer, and it's not really trustworthy, because when you actually try to when you launch those applications, it asks you to sign into your Google account, and once you do that, then it launches Internet Explorer and gives you the mobile web experience of Google Plus, which you can just easily just go to the browser and do it from that way. You really don't need a little icon that will just bring up the browser anyway. So not really trustworthy, putting in my information like that. So just rather just use Internet Explorer on here and just access Google Plus would seem like the best way and the safest way to do it. And the same is for YouTube. They don't have a native YouTube application, which is, it sucks. Without having a native Google Plus and a native YouTube app, there's a lot of things that a lot of the experiences you miss out on. Like, for instance, let's go back to Google Plus here for a second. But yeah, you can comment on people's stuff, you can view it, you can plus it from the mobile website. And, that's fine, but there's just a little bit more features involved with the Google Plus app that you won't really get to do that, or it's like a little extra steps to do that with the mobile web version. So. But besides, I don't know why my voice is so scratchy, but besides that, even with the YouTube app, without a native YouTube app, it just, it sucks bananas that you don't have the ability to upload videos straight from your mobile device. And I think that's like one thing that a lot of people have mentioned that's pretty killer, because you could be out and about, you could be doing something really cool, you could be like at a festival, concert, or whatever, you want to take a video, and just out of the pure touch of an angel, you have the most perfect LTE connection to upload a video super fast. And you want to take a video and you want to upload it, you really can't with the Nokia Lumia 635 and Windows 8.1, just for the simple fact that there's not a native YouTube app that allows that. Like iOS and Android, they do have a native YouTube app, and they do have the ability where you can upload a video that is on your device. You can upload it straight from your device, and of course edit the title, edit the description, and add in a few tag words at the bottom, as well as setting the video's privacy from either private to unlisted to public, and upload, and you got a video sent to your YouTube channel. Well, you really can't do that. So if you're a blogger, this is not really going to be a phone that you want to count on for on-the-spot delivery of videos. You can still take good videos with this and go home and sideload them to your laptop and upload them from your laptop or PC or your Mac or MacBook or whatever you're using. as a computer, but that'll probably like the only way that you could actually do that. And it's just kind of weird. Again, going back to the front-facing camera, without that, video chatting is non-existent with this thing. I mean, you can't rely on Skype because it doesn't have Hangouts. You can't really use Hangouts to have any Hangout, chats or whatever. But even with, just using Skype, you cannot. You just can't. I mean, you could. It has the ability to video chat, but it'll use the rear camera. So unless you're comfortable not seeing the person, or maybe you do something like this where you have like a mirror behind it, and you just talk looking at the mirror to see their reaction or whatever. But that's like an extra step that shouldn't be done. And you just look really quirky doing it. I mean, imagine if you have to get up and walk around your house or something. You got to hold the phone in one hand, mirror in the other hand, just to actually see the person's face while you're video chatting. It just would have been simple to just slap the front-facing camera on there, and then you could video chat from the front. Even some of the applications on there that are not that are native applications, they don't require you to open Internet Explorer. It's pretty much a shame. Instagram beta, I mean, that's just something that still boggles my mind. Instagram beta, like, why is it a beta version that cannot do a lot of what Instagram can do on Android and iOS, as far as like it can't take videos, it can only upload pictures, and even uploading pictures can sometimes be cumbersome because of the fact that if you take a photo with your basic camera and then you try to just go into Instagram and click the button and choose your actual photo to upload rather than snapping a photo on the spot, sometimes you'll have to keep trying to upload it like 2 or 3 or 4 times because it'll just keep failing, and it's like ridiculous. But actually, like using the Instagram app and launching camera and snapping a photo on the instant, that works flawlessly. So but no video options on there. It's like it's missing core features that I mean, even if you were to get like a non-beta version of Instagram and say it was like at the current version that it is right now, and you would still lose out because Android and iOS has more updated versions of Instagram and does more. So I mean, that really, again, that hurts the user experience because like I've said in my past videos last week, Windows Phone 8.1 and the Nokia Lumia 635 is all great. It really is. Like, I really want to like this phone 100%, but I can only like it at about 85%. Also, applications like Zedge for ringtones and wallpapers. Like, this is just wow. I mean, actually, I'll try to give you guys a spot on. So let me launch Zedge on both phones, and you guys will actually see what I mean about differences in applications. So okay, so you guys can see with Android you have more features on your menu. Wallpapers, live wallpapers, ringtones, notifications, games, and now it has icons, which is a beta thing. You have more with that, but hold on, let me kick my Wi-Fi on because I don't have connection on the Lumia. The Zedge side on Windows is pretty much a fail. It's wallpapers and ringtones, not even notification tones, just wallpapers and ringtones. I mean, at least you can get ringtones, but the rest of the stuff that Zedge would offer is pretty much non-existent. So that's really a downer. So even with native apps, there's still core features that like Android and iOS has with applications that are third-party applications that Windows is still lacking or still far behind on. And I really wish that development would try its hardest, since it is behind, to make that impact by keeping up with other OS platforms and how their third-party applications and what features those third-party applications have. Like, they should really focus on bringing those things up and actually work some kind of deal out with Google and get some Google Services apps, because that's also what holds it back. I know a ton of people are not really avid Google Plus users, so I'm not going to use that as a reason. But there are people who use Google Drive. There are people that use YouTube. There are people that, They use Google Documents and things like that. So I mean, you got to bring these things into your ecosystem to kind of help boost it. Um, just and the fact of like as far as for gaming, like gaming is still kind of behind. I mean, I can find Candy Crush, but most people are playing Candy Crush Soda Saga, and that's non-existent on Windows. I mean, it does have Angry Birds. It has most of the variants of Angry Birds and whatever. I do have Flappy Birds on here, which I play for fun or whatever. And there's some cool games that are not pretty popular on Android or iOS that I think is pretty cool. I like to play skee ball, so that's something fun to play on here. But that's really what's killing the experience for this for this phone, and it's really sad because it's a really good phone. And I'm going to talk about the operating system before I close this out. Why I find it to be such a wonderful experience. The application, not the application, but the operating system itself, to me is, I mean, like, I don't know, maybe some people might hate bash me for this, but this is like the idea, taking, the widget side of Android and the simplicity of iOS and just pulling it all together in one. I said it. Because people sit there and say, like, it doesn't have widgets. I've seen comments about that, like, one thing Windows phones lacks is widgets. And while it may lack an actual widget that you can just put on the home screen, technically these live tiles that are always constantly updating information for you to see pretty much acts as a widget, but it's also the icon to launch the application. So it's like the icon of the app is also the widget. So it keeps things light. And I think that's like one of the biggest things about Windows Phone 8.1 is that it's so light that it does not need a lot of RAM to actually run. So that's actually like one of the, I guess, blessings I can give to Windows Phone 8.1 is the fact that it's a very light operating system, and the simplicity of it. Basically, you're not having to worry about widgets. You're not having to worry about application icons because it's like unified. Your icon is your widget because Live Tiles does continuously update you on newer notifications and newer info that's going on within that app. And you would think that it would need more RAM to run something like that. And this is how Windows is so lightweight that when I say that, is that it actually doesn't. 512 megabytes of RAM does not. The phone does not slow down at all whatsoever. So with that being what it is, I mean, that's just like, yeah, I gotta tip my hat to Windows. I'm so sorry, my voice is scratching. Gosh. Okay, but yeah, I tip my hat off to Windows for that one. And another great thing about the Nokia that I gotta pitch out there is basically its battery life is phenomenal. I believe the battery is 1830 or 1860 milliamps. Okay, so when you think about that, it's pretty much like alongside like the Galaxy S2 Epic 4G Touch, and you would think the battery would be crappy, but it's actually not. And I say heavy use is like when I'm always completely on the phone doing something, whether I'm texting, whether I'm on WhatsApp, or if I'm on Skype or whatever. I could be using the phone for that. I could be watching a YouTube video using Internet Explorer or whatever, whatnot. And on a single charge, I get a little bit over a day and a half, almost close to 2 days, and that's with a small battery like that. But like again, it goes back to RAM, the RAM usage, and the OS itself being so light that it doesn't require so much power to run, and therefore battery management on this device is great. Also, I mean, like, it doesn't have like true multitasking such as some Android devices like the Note series and from Samsung and whatnot, but I think that kind of helps the phone rather than take away from it, just for the simple fact that, I mean, you really don't need to have like 3 screens up all at the same time. To me, that's just a gimmicky thing. Most people, they're in an application and they're paying attention to that one thing in the application that they're in for. They're not trying to multitask Google plus Facebook, Twitter at the same time, try to be here, there, and everywhere simultaneously. It's just not a lot of people actually do that. Just those that are looking to ride the gimmick thing is really what they do. So without the multitasking thing with Windows, it really doesn't hurt the user experience on it. It actually it helps the phone as far as battery management and just RAM management. So I think that's like one of the great things about it. And basically, just to kind of like start closing this out, if anyone was to ask me, would I use this phone as my daily driver? Hell yeah, I would. I mean, if I want to take a break from Android and get like a different experience, which is what I've done in the past week, I had a wonderful time using the Nokia Lumia 635 and Windows Phone 8.1. I had a super good time. Really, I did. There's times where I just felt like, oh God, I wish it had Google Plus on here so I can communicate with my friends on there or whatever, because I'm just not a Facebook person. I use my updates on Facebook come from my Twitter. I'd rather use Twitter than Facebook, and just let Twitter like auto post to my Facebook, so my family on Facebook can keep up to date with what I'm doing. But I'm a big Google Plus user, and so that with that experience is what kills it for me, and just the lack of a native YouTube app kills it for me. They've got to get these things worked out and get it in there soon, because it's not a new thing. Windows Phone is not a new thing. If those of you who don't really dabble with mobile tech, Windows Phone has been out for a while now, and I would think that they would be at least a step behind Android and iOS, and not so much like 10 steps behind, which is where I rate them at right now. Because the operating system is beautiful. It's immaculate. It's amazing. I like the way that it functions. It gives me something different from Android. Which is sad because the other day I was playing around with it and with my LG Vault, and I actually put on the Windows Phone launcher, and I was like playing around with it, just having all the Google services involved, and then having the skin of Windows Phone, and I was like, wow. That pretty much told me, like, if this phone and if Windows Phone got Google Plus, Google services, not just Google Plus, but just Google services in general, the experience would just be totally different, and maybe even overshadow where I could actually use this device for like a month or 2 or 3 and not revert back to Android. And that was kind of scary when I thought about it, but I was like, but that's the experience that I want. I want to be able to experience what I normally use on a daily with this device, and not have to worry about app compatibility and what apps they have on their ecosystem. Like, that's just what really kills it. I emphasize it because I am so sad for this phone. I could cry. That and the lack of a front-facing camera. Nokia, what the hell? Even the most weakest budget phones have front-facing cameras, and I think that would have really set it off for this, especially this was kind of like the test Boost Mobile customers and seeing like, would they like to use the phone with Windows. And I think if you're going to want to, it's like a salesman. If you want to do a good pitch, then hit them with your best shot. Give them a good, this thing right here, solid 9s across the board. Okay, I'm not giving it a full 10, but solid 9s. Well, lack of applications, missing a front-facing camera. Big issue. You gotta hit it with your best shot. You gotta do what you gotta do. And I think people would have adapted to this phone a hell of a lot more if it had things that they would get from Android or from iOS. If they got it here, it'd have been no issue for people to actually pick up this device. It's going to be you're gonna get a different feedback when you're missing a few quintessential things that people are looking for in a smartphone, and it may be hit or miss. But for God's sakes, I hope it's not a miss, because I would love to see another Windows Phone come to Boost Mobile. And definitely would love to pick it up when it has like more features and more things involved. And for God's sakes, Microsoft, please work a deal out with Google. Get some development done. Get some Google services done. Talk with some of the other developers out there. Get Snapchat in there. Come on. I mean, Snapchat really is not. I mean, it's Google tied, but it's not really part of Google services. It's not like YouTube or Google Plus or Snapseed or any of those applications. It's Snapchat, for God's sakes. You guys can bring it in there. It's not a tough thing. So anyways, that's my live feed, and I am so sorry that my stream is so crappy and lightning and thunder going on outside right now, and that's really effing with my live stream. So I appreciate it, but sorry that I'm all like chopped up or whatever and whatnot. And hopefully you guys enjoyed Shinobi in the background, just, kind of giving you guys a little something to look at back there besides my ugly face. Something fun. and just kind of like bring out the background. But if you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys watch this on YouTube later, let me know by leaving me the thumbs up. If you have not subscribed, please do so. Click that subscribe button. It really helps me out. And share this video on Google+, Facebook, and Twitter. My name is Rob, and I am signing out, guys.